Remember that amazing little cafe you discovered last summer? Or that perfect hiking spot you heard about? With the Overlook mobile app, you can create personalized lists of places you've been and want to go, and always see everything on a map. Share your favorite hidden gems with friends and family, or keep your secret spots private for you. The best part? No ads cluttering your lists, and no one selling your interests or travel data. Download the free app at overlookmaps.com and check out overlookmaps.com/Nashville to see some CityCast lists on a map and in your pocket. Overlookmaps.com. Collect and share the places that matter to you. Today on CityCast Nashville, it's time for our Friday News Roundup. I'm joined by our executive producer, Whitney Pasterek, and CityCast Nashville contributor and Nashville Scene columnist, Nicole Williams. This week, a council member faces a coercion accusation. What did Mayor O'Connell know about the Tesla tunnel and when? And, of course, we end on some good news for Swifties everywhere. It's Friday, August 29th. I'm your host, Marie Cecile Anderson, and this is what Nashville's talking about. Nicole, we're so glad you're here because you are no longer writing your column about Metro Council meetings. You are still the city's foremost expert in what goes on with those people. And there's a pretty big story this week about District 1 Council member Joy Smith Kimbrough. According to News Channel 5, in a formal ethics complaint, Councilmember Kimbrough is being accused of asking a Nashville business owner for $500,000 to support his project in her district.
It's true. Nashville-based liquor distributor Best Brands wants to expand its corporate headquarters and build a warehouse distribution center on some vacant land at Briley Parkway and Ashland City Highway. The company has promised to hire employees from Bordeaux and give $150,000 over 5 years to nonprofits and causes that directly help that area. The CEO of Best Brands, Ryan Moses, is now accusing Kimbrough of demanding $500,000. Kimbrough, on her end, is calling the ethics complaint, quote, meritless lies. And in an email to Metro Legal, she also wrote, quote, he is a spoiled, entitled, privileged, unhinged, lying crybaby who is attempting to besmirch my name.
For whatever it's worth, News Channel 5 also spoke to a Bordeaux resident named Joe Bond, who says neighbors are in favor of the project and that when he confronted Kimbrough about the allegations in the ethics complaint, she told him she was bluffing. Nicole, please, what on earth is going on here?
Oh, would that I could explain. Well, I do want to point out she allegedly asked for $500,000, not for herself, but for some unnamed nonprofits that she would choose and direct the money to. Again, all of this is alleged. We don't know if it's true. I will say it's interesting to call Moses unhinged when you read her email.
I just love anyone who uses the word besmirched.
Besmirched. I love calling him a crybaby. Like, that's incredible. So what we do know is that this ethics complaint has been filed. The Board of Ethical Conduct will hear the complaint, will determine at their next meeting whether or not to move forward with a full hearing. So it's sort of like the very first stage of a lawsuit where you kind of take the allegations to be true. And then you say, okay, if they're true, would this be a violation? They will take that up at their next meeting, which I think is in early September. And then if they do decide to move forward, then there will be a full formal hearing where Kimbrough will get to present her side of the story. Ryan Moses will get to present his side, and then the board will decide whether there was a violation of Metro Code. Now, you may be wondering, what can they do if there was a violation?
Yeah.
Not a whole lot. So they can basically recommend to the council that the council censure the council member, which, by the way, doesn't actually mean anything. It's just a resolution that's like, tut tut, you did a bad thing. They could also send it to the district attorney if they feel that there maybe criminal implications. But I'm not aware that that has ever happened in the history of the Board of Ethical Conduct. Sound off in the comments if you are aware of that.
In the meantime, though, is there anything that District 1 residents can do? Obviously, they can come out to these hearings or tune in. And I ask this because this isn't the first District 1 council member who's been in some ethical scrapes, let's call it. Their previous council member, Jonathan Hall, was censured, by the Metro Council back in 2022 for campaign finance violations, including a $360,000 fine by the Tennessee Registry of Election Finance. So is there anything that this district can do about any of this?
That's tough. They could try to recall Councilmember Kimbrough, but the threshold for doing that is very high. What they can do, which is what District 1 residents did last term, is write to the at-large council members. So we have 5 at-large council members. They represent all of Nashville-Davidson County. So if you are in District 1, the at-large council members represent you.
And it does sound like, to Mr. Bond, who was quoted in the News Channel 5 story, to his point, a bunch of residents have signed on in support of this warehouse, but maybe they have questions about this whole potential bribery situation, coercion situation, or they're in support of Councilmember Kimbrough. Make your voices heard. If you're listening and you live in District 1, don't be afraid to get involved in this. It really does matter. Marie, what's next?
And now it's time for tunnel time. Although we did have a listener write in and tell us that we could possibly call it muckhole time.
Muckhole time.
Do you remember that?
I'm not against muckhole time.
It sounds too close to Nicole for me.
Mind if I call you Muckhole?
Muckhole Williams is back on the podcast with us again.
I do mind.
All right, we won't do that.
Well, it's tunnel time here with Muckhole. No. Okay, well, this is the time of the show when we talk about the Tesla tunnels that Elon Musk's Boring Company is planning to dig from downtown to the airport. Whitney, there's always updates on this. What do we have this week?
Well, the Nashville Business Journal has been working overtime on this story this week, so shout out to them. They've been putting out stories mostly because they did a bunch of public records requests, which, a reminder, anyone at home is welcome to do as well. 3 big things to note from their reporting. They obtained a copy of a briefing memo that the State Department of Transportation prepared for Governor Bill Lee ahead of the announcement, and learned that the Boring Company spends roughly $15 million to dig 1 mile of tunnels, meaning that its proposed underground route here in Nashville could cost the company close to $300 million. All right. They also learned, no one has a comment.
Crying.
They also learned that they could have to pay even more money because the airport authority reportedly sent a non-binding letter of intent to the Boring Company. So the airport authority in charge of B&A. They proposed that Boring pay the airport an annual licensing fee of more than $1.7 million to use the land where the tunnel will emerge. And they said that the rides through the tunnel with all the pretty lights should also be subject to the same $5 surcharge that all other ride shares to the airport have to pay. And Metro will also add their $2 fee that goes to the Convention Center Authority. We talked about this last time Nicole was on. The $2 with which we're proposing we do a party bus, party bus system back and forth with kegs and DJs. So anyway, all of this makes it kind of hard to believe that a slow ride in a manned Tesla through a tunnel will be a whole lot cheaper than just taking an Uber from your house, especially when you factor in the cost of driving and parking your car downtown, where parking is notoriously inexpensive, before boarding your Tesla adventure.
As I mentioned the last time we spoke about this is not a plan for Nashvillians. This is a plan for tourists. And I think in one of the Nashville Business Journal pieces, the state specifically said, this is not about Nashvillians. This is not about Tennesseans. This is about tourists. Like, they were like...
What's that meme from the TV? Oh, my God.
He admitted.
All right. But the
Yes.
big shoe to drop this week comes from the same briefing memo prepped for the governor, in which the Department of Transportation writes, according to the Nashville Business Journal, that in May of 2024, Mayor Freddie O'Connell's office was, quote, intrigued by the project, but asked that the Boring Company not make any moves until after Nashville passed the Choose How You Move transportation referendum, which we did. And then, according to the Business Journal, the memo goes on to say, quote, while the referendum passed, President Trump was elected and Elon Musk, the founder of the Boring Company, became a more visible public figure. Metro Nashville stated while they believe this initiative will help mobility and they would not oppose the project, they needed to distance themselves and we should not plan to cross or proceed under any street that is city-owned.
I don't really know what to say about this. You know, it's the state saying something that they say that the mayor's office said, and then the mayor's office spokesperson doesn't really deny it, but gives sort of a different twist on the conversations.
Right. Mayor O'Connell's spokeswoman, Julie Smith, told the Business Journal that the May 2024 meeting was, quote, an informal conversation and said, quote, there was no specific project at the time. Across summer and fall of 2024, our focus was on moving forward with the Transportation Improvement Program built from 10 plus years of public engagement around transportation needs and solutions sourced from Nashvillians for Nashvillians. It's kind of a non-denial denial.
But it's not even a denial. It's not even a non-denial denial. We're going to talk about something different.
Choose how you move.
The thing that the state memo talks about is what happened after the referendum passed, after the November 2024 election, which is they're claiming that the mayor's office said, actually, we need to distance ourselves from this because Elon Musk is toxic. The mayor's office doesn't deny that. They just flipped the conversation to talk about what happened before the transit referendum was approved.
Look over here.
First of all, I don't know that it matters that much. Like, it's happening. Freddie O'Connell is not out there championing this project.
Right. But this assertion would give weight to the elected officials like Metro Council member Courtney Johnston, who said we would all be in favor of this if Elon Musk wasn't involved. The opposition is all just politics. It has nothing to do with logic or money.
This was going to happen whether or not Nashville was interested in it. Like, I can't see a world in which Freddie said, we do not want this. And Bill Lee said, okay, friend, like, you got it. We're not going to do it. What I am interested in is the fact that $300 million could pay to have fare-free buses in Nashville for over 30 years.
And we're going to get to that right after the break. So we told y'all last week about the Nashville Downtown Partnership, NDOT, and District 19 Council member Jacob Kupin teaming up to remove the benches from Korean Veterans Boulevard, where a whole lot of people used to sit, and replacing them with Marie.
Big balls.
Big balls. But something very cool happened this week here in Nashville. Robin Owen, who writes a Substack under the name Jesus Urbanist that looks at issues from an ethical and theological lens, wrote a post that everyone should read. It's wonderful. We'll link it in the show notes. It was titled, If the City Won't Build Benches, We Will. Robin claimed responsibility for the wooden benches that have been popping up at bus stops along Dickerson Pike and now on Korean Vets ever since those real ones got removed. Robin even included plans for how to build the same benches yourself. This is very cool. More of this, please, I say. Sadly, the city did not agree. And the wooden benches and the wooden benches that were placed on Korean Vets have now also been removed by NDOT. This was confirmed in the comments of a post on Instagram by homelessness advocacy group Open Table Nashville. Councilmember Kupin confirmed that NDOT did remove them and said that he'd asked for them to remain, but they're just gone now and he's trying to find them. His reasoning behind the removal of the original benches was that they needed to go someplace, quote, better, like Walk of Fame Park instead of on KVB. He calls Korean Vets a cut through. But so why not both? Like, why can't we have benches on KVB and someplace, quote, better? Is there a limited supply of benches in the world? Is it like my theory on scaffolding that when they remove from one building, it has to immediately be put up on another building? Like,
yes, we have stopped producing benches in the United States. We have stopped importing benches from other nations. The tariffs really hit the bench industry hard.
But see, this is what makes me nuts. And Nicole's going to get to go on a rant next. So I'm just going to go on a rant real quick here
you
first.
Go.
This is what bugs me. We've not stopped producing benches. And in fact, a group of caring and concerned Nashvillians took time out of their lives to, with their own two little hands, build beautiful, sturdy benches and place them where people needed them, including Korean Veterans Boulevard. And the city threw them in the trash or moved them to the warehouse from Raiders of the Lost Ark, where Councilmember Coopin is looking for them. But here's what I think. And I will say full disclosure that I did text this to Mayor Freddie O'Connell on Wednesday, and I stand behind it. Removing the original benches was stupid. It was an unforced error. Let people sit. Removing the wooden benches that people made themselves is shameful. And I am ashamed right now of this city, of the people who run it, of anyone involved in the decision to take benches made by Nashvillians for Nashvillians and throw them in the trash. And I'll stop now.
And let's remember, friends, that the reason the benches were originally removed is not because KVB is a quote unquote cut through. It's not because we need them other places more. It's because people experiencing homelessness were sitting, laying down, resting on the benches.
In the shade of trees.
In the shade. And we cannot, in this city, allow people experiencing homelessness to be seen. That is a failure. It's a failure that we have people experiencing homelessness. It's a failure that our response to that is not to put everything we have into building more housing. It's to take those people out of the view of tourists.
Well, I really encourage everybody to go back and listen to the incredible interview Marie did on Monday with Nashville Scene columnist Selena Maisel. She had written about this in her Street View column in The Scene, and they have a really great chat about what it all means, to your point, Nicole. But Marie, there's other controversy this week, yes?
Oh, yes. This week, there was controversy between advocacy group Walk Bike Nashville and WeGo Transit. When the latter reportedly doubled the cost of the bus passes Walk Bike provides to their members and demanded Walk Bike pay them $39,000 upfront to continue the program. Walk Bike wasn't happy about this and called out WeGo. WeGo posted and then deleted a response on their socials, but according to The Scene, they stand behind their words, which read in part, "It is a shame that Walk Bike Nashville decided to scare their members with misleading information about our ongoing discussions about their WeGo Ride partnership."
Okay, what stood out to me about the WeGo statement, though, was their assertion that Walk Bike's 600 plus members took more than 81,000 bus rides in fiscal year 2025, averaging a cost of 18 cents per trip, which means what? They aren't paying enough, I guess, or that they're riding the bus too much? Please stop riding the bus so much. Nicole, how is this a problem?
It's a problem because we still charge bus fares. I have made it my personal mission, now that I have retired my council work, I am now dedicating my free time and energy to advocating for a fare-free bus system in Nashville. Some things I wanted to point out. One, WeGo collects between like $5 and $8 million a year in fares, which is a fraction of their operating budget. Their operating budget exceeds $100 million.
Whoa.
So fares are a fraction of WeGo's operating budgets. We have seen other cities go fare free. In some cases, it has worked. In some cases, it hasn't. One thing that has been pretty consistent is that cities that relied on COVID funding to help fill the gap when they went fare free are now facing possible service cuts and issues with sustaining that because that money is gone. But WeGo is perfectly positioned to remove fares as a revenue source on city buses. When they went fare free in Kansas City, the number of incidents of like discord between drivers and passengers plummeted because the vast majority of those incidents were related to disagreements over fares.
Okay, but I'm going to stop you right there because you use the example
Yes.
of Kansas City, but that is also the example of a city that went fare free and then reinstituted fares.
First of all, it's one of those instances where they relied on COVID funding to fill about a third of the gap. But then basically the Kansas City Council, they have a contract with their transit authority. The contract lapsed. And so the city refused to send the dedicated sales tax revenue that the transit authority was owed, like voters voted on. And so they basically like extorted the transit authority into, yes.
It's so nice to hear that other cities are also a disaster. That's beautiful. Okay, but what's an example of a city where this is working?
Albuquerque, New Mexico. Chapel Hill, North Carolina. It's very small, but they've been doing fare free for decades. There are like cities, small and large, across the country that have gone fare free. And again, sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does, but we won't know if it works here unless we try it.
But wouldn't going fare free lead to service cuts?
We just passed a $6+ billion transportation improvement plan, and we are consistently exceeding our sales tax revenue estimates that we're bringing in from Choose How You Move. Councilmember Quinn Evans Siegel posted earlier this week on Blue Sky, I wonder at what point will be overestimates enough that it would offset bus fares for all for a year.
All right, but we want to know what you think there at home. Do you think fare-free buses are a good idea? Do you think that they would be a bad idea? Email us at nashville@citycast.fm. We want to hear your opinions. You can also, as always, call us at 615-200-6392. Would fare-free buses make you ride them more?
It would me, for sure.
Me too, absolutely. Well, speaking of things we want you to write in about, just a little reminder that we have a little over 2 weeks away from the start of early voting in the primary election for Tennessee Congressional District 7, the seat that Republican Mark Green abandoned to go make some money somewhere. This week, the Tennessee Lookout reported that 4 Republican candidates are locked in a dead heat at the top of the race. State Representatives Gino Bolso, Lee Reeves, and Jody Barrett, and former State Commissioner Matt Van Epps. On the Democratic side, there are 4 candidates: State Representative Afton Bain, Vincent Dixie, and Bo Mitchell, and Nashville businessman Darden Copeland.
So first of all, if you don't know if you live in Congressional District 7, you need to go to govotetn.com right now. You can also use that website to register to vote if you have not. The deadline to do that is September 8th if you want to vote in the primary, so it's coming up.
And y'all, we are planning a special episode where we hope to interview these 8 candidates about their stance on the issues that matter to you. So we want to hear from you. Please email us at nashville@citycast.fm with your questions for them. You can also call us at 615-200-6392. Just leave us a voicemail with your question and we'll ask them.
Nicole, what would your question be?
Why? Why are you running? That's a really solid one, I think.
And now on to
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Good news.
Nicole. I am so happy to talk to you about this good news. Did you know that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged to be married?
I had heard.
I just love that this is the biggest news story of the week. Even the White House was weighing in on it.
Lord.
All local journalists were reporting about it. I personally was offline hiking part of the Appalachian Trail in the Great Smoky Mountains.
Wow.
And I was hours late to it. Yep. I went to Dollywood and the next day this happened. I mean, did it happen because it was around my birthday? Thank you, Taylor, probably. But do we think that their wedding will take place here in Nashville since her family and musicians are here?
No. Absolutely not.
No.
She might have a bachelorette party here, though. And I will point out that on December 21st, the Titans play the Kansas City Chiefs, the team that Taylor's fiance plays for. So that game could potentially be hopping. What if that's the bachelorette party? Wouldn't that be amazing?
And if you are listening and have tickets to this game that you would like to give me, I will go and I will report on what it's like to experience a football show at the Titans Stadium for the very first time.
Oh my
Let
God.
me know.
A football show.
I will point out some other news here in town that is related. Tonight, you can go downtown and watch the Big Machine record label 20th anniversary concert. It's a free concert on Lower Broadway starting at 7 p.m. featuring Sheryl Crow, Carly Pierce, Riley Green, Brett Young, the band Perry, wherever those sweet kiddos have been. It's a great retrospective of all the acts that Big Machine has signed over the years.
Did they die young? They died young.
No, Nicole. Oh, no. Horrible thing to say. They're fine. They just tried to go like modern and it didn't take. But one artist who will not be appearing, Taylor Swift. Marie, why does Taylor Swift dislike Big Machine records so much?
Big Machine sold her masters to Scooter Braun, which then was sold to Shamrock Capital, which now our Miss Billionaire pop star has bought back her masters. And you can go celebrate the fact by seeing Sheryl Crow.
Sheryl Crow has a song called Oh Marie. Maybe she'll sing it for you.
And then in more great music news, 615 Indie Live is coming back for a second year. This was the festival started by the Music Venue Alliance and our good friend Chris Cobb last year to raise money for the organization and especially their emergency relief fund, which helps the city's independent venues keep their doors open during times of financial crisis. Next year's festival will be on February 7th. Mark your calendars. It should be even bigger and better, and we're so excited to see this new tradition take root. Let's talk about this weekend. First and foremost, it's Musicians Corner. It kicks off in Centennial Park with Free Fest tonight through Sunday. We're going to be there on Sunday, August 31st from 12 to 5 p.m. We'll have a cute little table set up. You can come see us. You can tell us what you think about stuff like fare free buses and the questions that you have for potential Congressional District 7 Congress folk. And plus, there will be really, really good music. Headliner on Sunday, Jade Bird. Nicole Williams endorsed.
Yeah, I saw her at a Hozier concert.
Look at you leaving your house.
The Grand Ole Opry. Oh, this was years ago.
You know what we should send Nicole?
What?
Is a link to our Overlook Maps. We have been curating experiences that everyone can enjoy at overlookmaps.com. You can look up CityCast Nashville on there. And we have curated, best happy hour spots, where to take the kids.
Yeah. This
family-friendly restaurants.
Margaret Kingsbury wrote an amazing neighborhood guide to 21st Avenue South. She went in every single shop between Wedgwood and Acklen and made a cute little map that you can visit there with comments about what she thinks about some of the little places.
Check that out. Again, at overlookmaps.com.
Fall's Fall comes to an end this weekend. I'm sorry to inform everybody. And we are now transitioning into the season we call dust. Just dust. It's just going to get hot. And then it's not going to rain until November. So brace yourselves. Happy week, everybody.
Woo!
We made it.
Oh, my goodness. We did do it. And everybody, if you ain't got nothing to do, why don't you head on over to Cracker Barrel?
Y'all take care of each other.
Bye.
That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. And don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Nashville neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. I'm your host, Marie Cecile Anderson. Our executive producer is Whitney Pastorak. Our producer is Daniel Sumstein, with extra support this week from producer Selena Say Reynolds. Our Hey Nashville newsletter editor is Margaret Kingsbury, and our theme music is by Prof Jenkins, with additional music by Anders Fobb from Triple Scoop Music via Getty Images. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends? Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Nashville newsletter. We'll be off on Monday, observing Labor Day, but we will be back Tuesday morning with more news from around the city. Toodles!